Welcome to the TRG Talk Digital podcast. I'm your host, Rick Ivanovic, and today I have with me as my guest, Nick Rowe, who is the co-founder of Saigon Digital. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Rick. What a pleasure to be here today in the TRG studio. Thank you for hosting me.
Now, Nick, you're the co-founder of Saigon Digital here in Vietnam. How did you get started in this role?
Yeah, that's right. What a question. So without going into too much detail, I found myself going on a bit of a traveling adventure around about 7 or 8 years ago now. And I did the typical Southeast Asia kind of circuit. And I eventually ran out of my backpacking fund and I decided, well, I'm here in Vietnam. I love this place. I had a real good connection just with the country itself, the people. And I decided that I wanted to try and live here for 3 months, which I did. And then 6 years later, I am still here. And yeah, this is how I got here in Vietnam.
Okay, so what's keeping you here?
So many things. I have lots of friends and family, loved ones, my partner, and also my business, my baby, Saigon Digital. So I'm the co-founder at Saigon Digital with my partner, Jonas. And yeah, we've been running the agency now for 4 years here in Saigon.
Okay, so it's an agency. What does that mean?
An agency, Rick, good question. So Saigon Digital is a full service digital agency. We work in different areas in digital marketing. We do web development. We do mobile application development. We do design, SEO, growth, and all the things digital.
Sounds wonderful. So what's your vision for Saigon Digital?
Our vision is that we want to become one of the best digital agencies in Southeast Asia. And we're definitely on the way to get there. We've got some great clients and we're on the way to securing some great new contracts, some deals with new potential clients across the world. And yeah, we love it here in Vietnam. We've got a great team. We're almost 30 people. And yeah, we're based here in Saigon.
What is it that you like best about what you actually do?
That's a good question. I really enjoy working with people, solving very difficult challenges and giving great solutions to our clients. And that is also reflective internally, working with teams, solving problems, and also giving great solutions to our clients.
Yeah, that's what you do, all right, and what you like best. But why do you do what you do?
I think in general, I'm very passionate about digital and tech and a startup environment. I really like enjoying building things. I've always been an innovator. I've always been very curious. I like to think of myself as potentially a collaborative, curious momentum maker. Now, what that probably means is that I'm always thinking, I'm always trying to stay ahead of the curve. I'm really leaning into new technologies. From a young age, I was very, very much my mum can contest to this. She saw me growing up and I used to build computers when I was like 12 years old. And yeah, I was always just tinkering with tech when I was very young. And I always had a passion to be curious and to want to build things and have just this curiosity of wanting to learn new things. So that I think is why I do it. I've always had that mindset of growth, of just wanting to learn more and more and more.
You mentioned that Saigon Digital, it's a sort of full service agency here based in Vietnam, and you've got clients all around the world. But how did you get into this industry in the first place?
Yeah, so I think it again stems from my childhood and growing up. I was always, as I said, very quite innovative with what I wanted to do. I wasn't a hard worker necessarily at school, but outside of school, I was very passionate about learning things. And I think that drove me to want to start my own business. I was never happy when I was working for other companies. I worked in different agencies in the UK. I enjoyed it. I learned my trade. I learned how to work with people. I learned a lot about software development because that's what I did before I went into the business side of things. But I think, I realized that I didn't want to be working for someone and I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to create my own rules. I wanted to be able to shape the way my life was. And I wanted to be able to drive that with starting a business and having that kind of freedom and flexibility of who I wanted to work with in terms of clients, but also the people that I wanted to be surrounded by in my day-to-day. So that is a reflection of Saigon Digital, our team, and who we work with as well. So that, I think, is one of the main reasons why.
No regrets in starting this up here?
No, absolutely not. I absolutely love Vietnam, and I think it's a great place to be for business. You see a lot in the news, especially over the maybe like 5-10 recent years. You can probably know yourself, Rick. Starting a business here has a lot of positives. Vietnam is one of the fastest growing kind of tech countries in Southeast Asia. So in terms of regrets, I don't have any. The only regret I would probably say is the fact that I'm quite far away from home. And as you know, being raised in the UK, it's not a short flight over the water to get back home. I consider myself very much a family and friend person. And I do miss my family and friends, especially my mum and dad and my brother and my sister. But it's really nice that I have this place as a home. They come and visit me. My dad's coming over next year. So it's great to have the opportunity for them to come and visit me over here to a place that I now like to call home. But it's also somewhere that I feel very happy to introduce people. When my friends and family come over, it excites me so much to be able to show them my second, now first home.
Okay, so Saigon Digital is what, 6 years old now?
It's actually 4 years old.
4 years old, okay.
Yeah, officially 4, but we were working maybe a bit longer before that.
Okay. So there are, although it's a wonderful environment here in Vietnam, did you face any obstacles during this first 4 years of Saigon Digital?
Well, there was a time actually, quite a turbulent time. And I'd like to kind of reference something that I know. It seemed like it was business as unusual during the time of COVID. And actually running a digital agency during that time, you may think, okay, everything's digital, you can still do work, but the whole world did close down. And even though we were able to work remotely, we had these kind of troubled times with processes and working with people. But actually, that was the time when we first started the company. And we had no idea of the magnitude of what was going to happen, how long it was going to go on for. The same with everyone else. I actually got stuck on an island here in Vietnam, and I managed to start the business on that island, basically on the beach. And that's the kind of the beauty of digital, right? You can do it from anywhere. You can work from a beach. You can work from home. But we did definitely face obstacles during that time of COVID, especially with businesses slowing down, reducing their budget and their spend, especially in digital and tech. So I would say COVID was one obstacle, but it actually was a very good time for us for growth and learning new business and all that kind of stuff.
So it sounds like you actually started the business during COVID.
It was just before. I would think we started in March of 2020, and that was during COVID. But actually in Vietnam, the 2020 was actually quite nice here. It was really free movement. The rest of the world was in a severe lockdown, but as you know, Vietnam, without getting into too much COVID talk, Vietnam was one of the first countries to completely close the borders. And that allowed us to actually have safe travel up until around, I don't know, I think it was maybe July, August later that year. So we started it in, right in the start of that year, but it allowed us to build it up. And then when the lockdown did come, we weren't too affected by it, but obviously it had the impact of having just to work from home and on a beach in my case.
Saigon Digital, it's about 4 years old now. What's been the most challenging thing for you so far?
Yeah, great question, Rick. I think in general, when you run a business, it can consume a lot of your time. As a co-founder with 50-50 share with Jonas, you feel like it's obviously a huge responsibility you want to put in all the time. Now, I used to work 16 hours a day and 7 days a week, but it's just not sustainable long term. As you rightfully say in one of your talks, working hard is great until you can't work hard anymore. And then you start to realize it's not all about working hard. Sure, I completely agree that there are times where you need to dig deep and you need to put in the hours. And I'm a big advocate of, if you work hard, you will see the results. But you have to also remember that there's a lot more in life, especially with your loved ones, your partner, and everything else that life throws at you. It's very easy to be consumed of just working behind your laptop late nights and just doing work and work and work, because essentially, as a business owner, there's no stopping. Your to-do list is forever, and you can potentially go on forever and ever, but at the cost of what? You're losing time with more important things. And I think the whole work-life balance is a real thing for a lot of business owners. Understanding when to shut off and not bringing that home when you're not working is one of the key challenges and things that I've realized over the years.
Okay, so it's clear that you've reached that conclusion. What triggered it?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I've reached the end conclusion of that yet, because I still do work a lot, and sometimes I've been told that I do still work too much, and I'm sure, Rick, you've heard the same before in the past. So I think you realize it when you start to miss out on things that are happening in your external life. So that could be trips away with your friends, it could be holidays, it could be doing things with your loved ones or your partners or anything like that. So when I kind of realized, all right, I'm working too hard now, but really is it worth the time and the investment, whereby you have opportunity to do other things as well.
Okay. So that's caused you to change, all right?
Yeah, I think it has caused me to change a bit. I think it's, for me, sometimes you have to step back. When I was young, my parents, they raised me in a very, we weren't well off. We didn't come from money. My mum and dad were both very hardworking. My mum went on to open her own business. So I think I got a lot of inspiration from my mum. And I saw her as a single mother raise me and my brother and sister as well. So I know that hard work is definitely, it runs in the family, especially with my dad as well. He was hardworking. But I think in terms of change, I think you see the hard work, but at the same time, you have to realize that life is more than just about working hard. Even though if you want to be successful, you must do that. But there is a fine line. And I really appreciate balance in life. I'm very into staying healthy, daily habits, making sure that I feel like if my mind is healthy, then that really resonates through all of everything in my life, all the balance. I'm able to be a better person. I'm able to be a better partner, and I'm able to be a better business owner as well.
So when you talk about balance, what does balance in life mean to you?
I think balance in life it's a very broad term, right? But I think just being able to, I think going back to what I said before about work-life balance, don't work too much, but at the same time, you do need to balance, enjoy your time with your friends and family for sure, enjoy doing things that you like. I think it's just about finding that happy medium in things that you do, things that you enjoy, that make you happy. And ultimately, you have to find that and figure out what is best for you. And the balance in my life is very much, I enjoy doing a lot of things, maybe too many things that take up a lot of my time. I've got a lot of hobbies, maybe too many. I enjoy lots of different sports. For example, I enjoy doing Muay Thai, and I enjoy playing football. I enjoy playing squash, so much more. The list goes on. So that is the balance for me. It's about being able to stay hyper-focused when you need to be. And that comes through hard work and dedication, but then also striking that balance of seeing your friends, having quality time with your loved ones, and also making sure that you can just be the best person you are. And I think when you said, how did that change before? I realized that I was working too hard, and it was at the sacrifice of friendship and relationships.
Okay, so how are you striking the balance?
I think striking the balance comes from, I'm a very routine orientated person. I traveled the world for around a year and a half, and I absolutely loved it. But what I did realize was when I was traveling the world, I had absolutely no routine. I would wake up at different times of the day. I would be staying in one hostel or hotel across Southeast Asia, and then the next day I'd be somewhere else on a bus. I'd be moving, I'd be traveling, and I really did enjoy it. But I think in order to keep yourself on track, you do need a certain level of routine. And that comes with starting from your day-to-day, having that clear vision of your week and what your kind of vision is for that week. And then that goes on to your 90 days, your 6 months, 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year goals, right? So I really like to make sure that my day-to-day is very structured. I like to make sure that I wake up. I have some small habits that I like to do, such as watering the plants, kind of staying non-digital for like the first hour. I don't like to connect to my phone. I absolutely don't want to be reading emails from the night before from US clients. And I try and have that nice morning period where I can just ease my way into the day, have some clarity and remove that brain fog. And then I love getting into work. For me, I really do find my best work is in the morning, maybe the first couple of hours of the day. And from there, I go into maybe a little bit of exercise. I kind of re-energize, rejuvenate my brain. And then I continue with my day in the afternoon with more work. And then, that's my typical day. And that's how I create a routine, habits. And it all starts with from a high level of your day.
Cool. So what makes you feel inspired to be your best self?
Great. So I think there's a few different things here that we can break down. So for me, I'm always inspired by, from a business level, I'm inspired by competition and people that are doing well around me. I always like the reference that Mercedes said to BMW. We're glad that BMW are around because we wouldn't have the innovation that we have today if they weren't there. And I look at other companies in a similar space, in digital, in tech, what they're doing, and I get very inspired by innovation, sustainability, growth, and all these kind of things that are happening in our day-to-day. And in the digital and tech industry right now, as you know, there's so much happening with AI, with growth, and all of these really cool new things that are happening day-to-day. That inspires me to want to be able to then understand that, learn that, and bring that into my company at Saigon Digital. We're all about innovation. We're all about growth. And we really want to be on the forefront of that. And that inspires me. I want that to resonate through to my team and grow the company in that kind of growth mindset. I'm all about growth mindset, and I really want to push that in everyone at Saigon Digital and people around me. And I think furthermore, to not on a business level, what inspires me, I like to get inspired by my friends, my family that are around me that are doing great things. I'm a firm believer of you are who you're surrounded by. And I try and make sure that I'm listening and I'm around people that are better than me, that try and keep me curious, and that I look up to and think, okay, this is where I want to be in my future self. This is where I want to be in maybe 1 year, 2 year, looking at them and looking at these other companies, competition, whatever it may be, to look into as an inspiration.
Okay. So do you have a hero? Somebody you look up to?
I think, obviously, family, mum and dad, they're absolutely my key inspiration for what I've done and my personal growth and just people that I look up to. But there's obviously a lot of other tech innovators out there that are doing great stuff. You've got big CEOs at tech startups. I've always been a big fan of Steve Jobs. Even though not everyone was a fan of him. I thought what he did, the way he revolutionized Apple in the 1900s was absolutely fascinating. So I think these people at these startups, especially when I was growing up, I was seeing the likes of the big tech giants like Apple, Google, all of them really pushing the boundaries of how the internet was born. And I think for me, they are people that I look up to for sure, other than my mum and dad.
Okay, apart from your parents, have you had any other important people in your life, other sort of professional mentors or anything like that?
Absolutely. So when I first started my early career, I was into tech. I was out of university as a software developer. I joined a few different agencies working in-house in product, in tech teams, development teams, and a shout out to probably Ben McKean, who was the head of development at one of my first agencies. He was such a great manager to be around, inspirational, so understanding, so calm at a company that definitely at times it was difficult to remain calm at. So I think Ben was a great mentor in that space. He was really he was able to deliver great feedback. He was able to just get on a personal level with you and really make you want to do well in your role. So I think a big shout out to Ben. And over the years, there's been other people that I've learned from as well, people that I've worked. As I said, I started as a developer, but I moved more into now the kind of the business minded role. But yeah, I think the other agencies and that I've worked out, these people have been inspirational. I've read a lot of books as well around how to grow businesses. A big shout out to Gino Wickman over at Traction. I've learned a lot about that. Another person that I learned a lot about management and how to grow a business and how to think for purpose is a guy called Mad Singers. He is based in Saigon. He runs the SEO Mastery Summit. And actually, I did his management course a couple of years ago, and I learned a lot about just hiring, decision making, how to analyze people and how people work, how to delegate, how to communicate effectively, and how to just manage people. So a big shout out to Mads, and I think he's been very inspirational to me and Saigon Digital, as well as Jonas. I know that he's been great for us.
Wow. Okay. So I can see and I'm sure our listeners can see how successful you are and you've created that. But for yourself, what does success really mean to you?
That's a great question, Rick. And I think everybody's definition of success is very different. For me, I think I define success as being happy and being able to show something that you are proud of. And I think that doesn't necessarily mean monetary kind of value or having tons of assets, having a swanky car. For me, success ultimately is happiness. And that can mean many different things for many people. I want to be happy in the long run, and that can be through just finding peace, finding inner peace. It could be through running a successful business and selling it and then moving on, for example, or many different things. But for me, success is being proud of something, having something to show for, and as a person, being looked at as, okay, this person's done well. He knows what he's talking about. He's successful because he knows this particular industry and he knows what he's talking about. And that having that end happiness is, I think for me, that is what a successful kind of end goal would be.
Thank you for that. Now, the precursor to that question, I said, clearly our audience, we can see this as a successful person. But do you personally see yourself as successful at the moment?
No, I don't. I'm not a perfectionist, but I do like to see myself as somebody that is, I told you before, I like to see myself as a very curious kind of momentum maker. I like to really push myself forward. I'm never done with learning and continuous improvement. I'm all about, similar to you, Rick, you probably follow the Kaizen methodology within yourself and your businesses. So I'm always one that wants to keep learning, keep pushing. So obviously I have my own business. It's been going now for nearly 5 years. We have a big team, around 30 people. I'm there every day. But for me, success is a continuous thing. It's a continuous improvement thing. It's a growth mindset, and I want to keep learning. I'm never going to retire. I don't think. I'm always going to be that person that is always doing something. Maybe taking it a little bit slower, but I never want to stop, and I want to always keep going. I'm hungry for growth. I'm hungry for the next thing, and yeah, ultimately, I don't think I'll ever stop. And to answer your question, I can see myself doing well, but I wouldn't say yet I'm successful.
Okay, so what's stopping you from feeling successful?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. So I think if I do take a step back and look objectively at really what I've done and what I've kind of done to date, sure, you can probably say that is successful. But I think I am someone that likes to strive to do more all the time. As I said, I'm always learning to do more, always wanting to do more. So I think, yeah, that is probably the reason why I don't see that just yet. There's more to come.
There's more to come. And because there's more to come, that's making you feel not successful yet.
Yeah. When you put it like that, maybe I should take a step back and be a bit more modest about who I am and what I've achieved. Starting a company in a foreign country, millions of miles away from home, is probably considered somewhat of a success, right? So I think what you have to do sometimes is, be modest and say, okay, maybe I have had some success to date.
Well, that's acknowledging the wins, acknowledging the wins of the way to yourself, your stakeholders, which includes yourself.
Mm-hmm.
However, even if you do that, will you feel successful?
Probably long term, yes. Probably long term.
So is that implying that something is going to change?
I think, that's right. I think I'm a person that really enjoys creating things, doing new things, building things. As I kind of touched on, as a youngster, I was always curious and wanting to build new things and do new things. So I think for me, I'm someone that wants to keep going, keep solving new problems, and just continue building new things, new businesses, new ideas, new startups, working with clients and solving their problems. That's what I love doing, and it's a continuous thing.
Okay. You said there's much to learn. Okay, much to learn. Do you have anything in your sights that, hey, do you want to learn this or that or the other thing?
Yeah, I think in general, nobody nobody knows everything, right? We're all human. When I look at my peers, people around me, example like yourself, Rick, a very successful person yourself, and when you see, the way that certain people like yourself operate, it's very inspiring to look at these things, right? So I want to always keep improving and keep learning. So going back to your question, which was, sorry, I kind of went off topic there.
What else do you want to learn?
What else do you want to learn?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's circle back to that.
Safer question, yeah?
Yeah. Let's go back to that.
So what's on your to-do list to learn? What are you going to learn? Here you go. We're coming to the end of 2024. What's your plan of what you're going to learn, if there is one, for 2025?
Yeah, so I think as people, we are always continuously learning. Not everybody knows everything. Looking around at like successful people like yourself, Rick, you've got a lot of knowledge in there yourself. So I'm inspired by other people in my network, my peers, people that I work with. So in terms of what's coming up on the radar, I'm always about scaling and learning new things. So when I first started my career, I was very much a big nerd. I was into tech, and then over the years, I learned about let's start a business. Let's learn how to manage people. Let's learn how to delegate. Let's learn processes. Let's learn all these things. So I think for me, growing a business and learning how to scale it, learning how to be more efficient, and learn how to do improvements in certain areas of your life is something that I always want to keep going with, especially my personal life as well. I'm not perfect in any means. I'm very much a big people pleaser. I say yes to a lot of things. I think it's very important to rein those things in as well. I'm just a very enthusiastic person. I love doing things. I'm very social. So I think just being able to learn how to, just be more aware of, maybe saying no more, taking a step back, enjoying life as it is and as it comes, rather than just being in this so fast-paced digital world. I think that is something that I really want to do. Maybe slow down, reflect, and that's probably what I want to do more of in 2025 as we come to a close here.
Okay. I've heard that, it's all about growth. It's all about how to scale. You're still a startup. You're still a very young startup. So is it, when you talk about growth and scaling, is that infinite?
I think depends where you are in your company. Saigon Digital, we are a very early stage startup. And where we want to get to is we want to find that sweet spot of an agency where all the gears, they run themselves at a very efficient rate. Agency style is all about you charge for your workforce, you charge for your hourly rate, and then the output is essentially your profit margins, right? So making that more efficient and scaling that effectively is how you strike the balance and how you essentially operate most efficiently in your agency. So when we talk about growing and scaling, that doesn't necessarily mean hiring more people. It could mean hiring better talent. It could be more about refining processes. It could be about better delegation, better standard operating procedures in your business, how the day-to-day runs, and ultimately who is responsible for certain things, right? So there could be more headcount in the agency, but at the same time, there could be efficiency improvements. It could be through, as I said, hiring and all of the good stuff that comes from the top down, from management all the way through to workflows, efficiency, operating procedures, and
So it's really about sort of efficiency and productivity. It's not really about size.
No, it's not at all. As the famous saying goes, if you have 9 women, you won't have a baby in 1 month, right? So it's not necessarily about throwing more people at a problem. It's about finding the right solution. And that could be through having the right people on that task, that issue, and having the right strategy to get to that end goal.
So do you think people understand you when you say you want to grow the organization, you want to scale it?
Yeah, they do. So we have recently had our big annual company meeting in September, and it was a great opportunity to really talk about the agency. Myself and Jonas, we were there talking about the vision, what's going to be happening in the next year, and rightfully so. When you say talking about growing the agency, people immediately think, oh God, that's going to mean growing it in terms of let's throw more people at this agency. And no, it doesn't. It means we're going to grow professionally as people. We're going to learn how to handle different scenarios differently. We're going to grow as a team. Departments are going to grow with knowledge. They're going to grow with their processes. They're going to grow with information and how these departments work with each other. As you probably know, Rick, at TRG, you've got very cross-departmental company here. Lots of different things happening, right? And learning how to grow them to work together is one of the key things, especially in agency, when you're servicing clients that do have different needs, different wants, and ultimately different services from your business.
Okay, I'm going to sort of change gear now and ask you a different question. What makes you smile?
Yeah, good question. I think for me, what makes me smile is I'm a person that really enjoys looking at people's success around me, especially within my company. When I see team members at Saigon Digital that we've hired over the years, and you can see them grow, and you can see that them doing great things within the workplace. We celebrate the small wins, but at the same time, we obviously celebrate the big wins. And the small wins, they're just as good as the big ones. When I see that happening around me in my day-to-day, and you can see team members that you brought on as juniors all the way through to mid-level to senior role, when you see them grow and develop professionally, it really does, it opens my eyes and it does make me smile. And that is a big thing that gets me out of bed every day, is the fact that I know that I'm going to come into work and I'm going to see these people that are working for Saigon Digital, my company, doing well, doing a good job and putting in a big effort. And that really does motivate me and make me smile. Other than that, there's lots of other things that make me smile. I am quite a simple person in terms of happiness and what makes me smile. You know, I'm very, very much at peace and a happy person when I'm with my friends and with my family and seeing good things happening around me, seeing them succeed. So I think, I'm happy when I see other people doing well, and that could be from a professional level all the way through to a personal family level as well.
Okay, but when you look in the mirror, are you happy about yourself doing well?
Absolutely.
Does that make you smile too?
It does, yeah. And I think that probably is, for a lot of people, the main thing, right? But I do definitely have time to reflect. I look at myself and look, okay, well, this is where I've come over the years. And yeah, that does make me smile, especially when there's running a business. It can be difficult at times. There's lots of decision making on your shoulders, lots of problems that happen. You're always thinking about it. And I think that for me is something that I've learned to very much be better at managing over the years. And when you can realize that, okay, it's not all about work, and you've got to then take a step back, reflect on the success and the wins over the years, then once you do that reflection, it does make you happy, and it does, for me, make me smile as well.
That's great. So that's what makes you smile. So what's your biggest pet peeve at the moment then?
Oh, pet peeve. Oh, God. What could it be? I don't know. I think you've got me there, Rick. What could be a pet peeve, eh? People not doing their job. People taking the piss. Excuse me. Actually, I don't know if I can answer that one. I don't really have a pet peeve right now. Can I come up with one on the spot? No, I don't know if I can actually answer that one right now.
Okay.
You've got me.
Right. I got you. I got you. All right. Now, I've got a magic wand here.
Oh, good.
I'm going to wave it. I'm going to give you 3 wishes. What are you wishing for?
Oh, that's a great question. Can I have 3 more after that? 3 wishes. Okay. So I think, there's many things that you could wish for, right? How do I want to perceive myself in this interview? Is it going to be, shall I be greedy and wish for loads of money, or do I want to be really nice and wish for world peace? I think for me, some of the wishes would be just personal things that would be great. So like friends and family to be happy and have good health. For my business, obviously, to do well and to succeed. And I think finally, let's throw a bit of a rogue one out there. Shall we have world peace? And then I think everyone will be happy for the most part. I mean, probably some very basic answers there, but I think that would be 3 off the cuff kind of answers for you.
Okay. Now, during the pandemic, you were stranded on an island.
I was.
Okay, so some people say, yeah, why didn't it happen to me? But apart from that, putting that aside, what's the most unusual experience you've ever had in business?
When you say unusual, so when I first realized that I wanted to be a business owner, an entrepreneur, I think it was about taking a risk, taking the leap of faith that would lead you to opportunity, right? I'm sure you've been there as well, Rick. When I first got into my career, I knew that in order to be successful, you needed to put yourself out there. You needed to ask questions. You needed to be curious. You needed to sometimes take a really big risk. So one of the most unusual things that I did was, maybe not so unusual these days, but I reached out to a person, and I said to that person, have you thought about doing this for your business? And I can't remember the ins and outs of it now, but it was essentially, I was asking them how their business was, what it's doing, and if they would take that risk and do a project with me, right? So it wasn't so unusual, but it was a complete random act of faith. And I saw it, and I saw that there was potential in this opportunity. And I just sent a message to somebody on LinkedIn many years ago, and it opened the door for me. And it might not be unusual, but my point is that it was unusual in the sense because it gave me a big opportunity to start my business and learn about how to take risks. And I think that is the story about it was unusual, yes, because it gave me a lot of opportunity, and it was really something that spearheaded my way into wanting to start my business.
Wonderful. So that's being unusual in business. Now let's forget about business.
Okay.
Let's forget about work.
Okay.
What's the most unusual thing that's ever happened to you in your life? I'm sure you've come across something. You've traveled the world for more than a year.
Yeah. So I think something that was very unusual, probably about 6 years ago, I spoke to an astronaut in space.
You were in space?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Was I in space? No, I was on planet Earth. And I actually joined a live Q&A on the big social platform, Reddit. And I managed to speak to Chris Hadaway, who is a astronaut, and he was in space at the time, and he was doing a live Q&A on Reddit, and he had a thread, and he said, anybody ask me some questions? So I did ask him, what's your favorite food in space? And he replied to me in space, and he gave me the answer, and it was the tortilla wrap, because bread in space with gravity, the particles just kind of go into space. But the tortilla wrap is firm and it doesn't have any small breadcrumbs. So it stays compact and perfect for eating in space. So he was saying his favorite food in space was in fact the tortilla wrap. And I was on planet Earth and he was speaking to me on the International Space Station, many moons away, quite literally. And that was probably one of the most unusual things that happened to me in my personal life.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, as we're drawing to a close, Nick, if people want to get hold of you online, how should they find you? How do they get hold of you?
Yeah, great question, Rick. Thank you. So if you would like to see me online, you can go to our website, www.saigon.digital. And on there, you can look at our website, who we are, what we're all about, and obviously contact us through the website. Alternatively, you can find me on LinkedIn under Nicholas Rowe. And also on other social media platforms like Twitter, X. My handle is @RoweFX on Twitter. And yeah, that is how you can find me online.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll put all of those in the show notes. So if you didn't catch that, they will be in text on the show notes. So don't worry about that. So Nick, would you like to share some of your life values, your core values?
My life values. Sure, absolutely. So my values resonate through to everything that I do in my day to day. So at Saigon Digital, we've got 3 core values. We've got innovation and growth, right? So obviously staying curious, staying with that growth mindset. And we've got collaboration and partnerships, all about fostering friendships, business relationships, being out there and just having partnerships and collaboration with people, things, and fostering that kind of community, may that be in your personal life and in business as well. I think that's very important. And I think, and finally, another one of my big values is just being true to your word and having just great communication with people, just being honest, being authentic, integral, and just being a very down to earth, good person, and just being able to level and be a nice person. I think they're my kind of core values, and they also strive through into Saigon Digital as well.
Okay, so being the co-founder, obviously your core values are mirroring the core values of the company.
Correct.
Well, thanks very much, Nick, and thanks to everybody for joining us. There you have it, Nick Rowe, co-founder of Saigon Digital. That's saigon.digital. All of the contact details are in the show notes. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Nick, for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you very much.